going to be announcing what they're doing, so I don't have anything else to do. So enjoy.
We Got the Beat is a program where students of various ages, ranging from first grade all the way up to 8th grade, can come together and experience learning various percussion instruments and experience being in music.
We Got the Beat is a really safe, creative space for kids to explore music and friendship and creativity.
Super excited about what Brenda's doing because it's unique. She had seen a group in Kentucky that was similar, and it really struck a chord with her.
I was hired on as the director of the People's School of Creative Arts, and I was searching for other directors and musicians that had a similar vision for utilizing our gifts to make a difference in our community.
About the time we were starting the Creative Arts School, Brenda Myers was considering leaving public education and starting her own program, which eventuated into We Got the Beat. So we joined forces, giving Brenda an opportunity to be a part of our Creative School of Arts, but also giving her a place to rehearse with her students. And it was fun hearing those students practice.
The We Got the Beat program works by teaching a bunch of kids who have little to no experience with music, pop, rock, jazz, and other kinds of tunes by rote and by ear, teaching them how to use their ears to learn new parts, teaching them how to groove as a band and work together as a team.
I was just amazed at how there was kind of an unconventional way of teaching, of using phrases and using techniques to have kids pick up the principles a lot faster. I'm remembering all of the, I'm stinky, wrote step on me right now, these phrases that Brenda and Diane and the kids would come up with to help memorize what rhythms sounded like, and when they associated it with those words, it stuck.
I think the most unique thing is the fact that we don't give the kids any written music. All the school programs have written music. All the kids are required to learn how to read music in order to play in their groups. We never showed anybody how to read music. We didn't teach any music theory. We didn't do any of that stuff. We just showed them by rote. We just taught them how to listen and then how to play.
They might learn from the instructors, or they might learn from other students in the program. They're encouraged to practice their parts at home, to listen to recordings and watch videos in order to reinforce the learning of their parts.
I struggle with anything that has to do with numbers, adding, counting, and that's just a lifelong struggle I've always had. But Brenda made it fun with the rhythms and the funny sayings that she would attach to help us remember the rhythms, and that made it so much fun. And there are still some songs I can't listen to without hearing some of those funny little sayings that got drilled into my head.
Having come from a background where I learned sheet music, sight reading, music theory first, I had this concept in my mind that everything in music was written on the page. But We Got the Beat very, very quickly taught me that there are so many intricacies about stylizing and inflection and all these different nuanced aspects of music that just cannot be captured on a piece of paper.
We weren't necessarily tied down to trying to learn music theory. We weren't, subconsciously trying to get signed on to a record label or, be number one. It was just, a group of kids at that young age that just wanted to play because they wanted to play.
We Got the Beat takes students at any musical level. If they've never played an instrument before, if they've been taking lessons for 5 years, they take any student that wants to participate and turns these kids into musicians.
We Got the Beat is full of all kinds of kids, and some kids are gonna like you and relate to you, and some are gonna think you're playing weird, but that's okay. I mean, in a good way, they're gonna think you're weird, because everybody in there gets along.
Some are very quiet. Some want to tell you every little thing about their lives. Some have a better ear than others. Some are better at memorizing than others.
I saw kids really come together as a community. They just bonded with one another. I mean, yeah, you're going to have problems just like any other group, and anytime you have people, you're going to have things. But for the most part, the kids really liked one another. They liked playing music together, and I think that's what they had. They had that common bond of the music.
Working together is very important. And an example of this was when we were loading the truck after each gig, because that doesn't take one person to do it, it takes multiple people. And if you can't do that, then you need to just learn how to be a team. And that's what We Got the Beat did. We Got the Beat taught you how to be a team and not just fend for yourself.
Being surrounded by the older students was sometimes intimidating. It's like, wow, they can do all this stuff and I can only do just like one thing, or I can't do what they do and stuff like that, right? So in some ways it can be intimidating, but I think also like at the same time too it was helpful to have someone who knew what they were doing.
My initial experience, I was nervous at first because I didn't realize that everybody was like me and didn't know much about music. I thought I was going to be the only one that was new to it, and I thought everyone was going to be way better than me and I was going to be like super good. But I realized that everyone was also not super good into music because we were all in first grade and didn't know anything.
I thought that I was going to pass out while I was playing drums because I just couldn't breathe. And so when I first started playing in the group, I really had to focus my energy and kind of think through things instead of just getting overwhelmed.
Playing in front of your peers that you see at school every day, is definitely a big deal, and that was pretty big.
Not only, did you get the opportunity to play in front of your school and in front of your friends during your school fair or whatever, which was always fun, but we also got to go to a lot of different universities' Day of Percussion events, which we did some locally in Fresno, and then notably we went to, we did Humboldt State Day of Percussion. We also went to Long Beach State Day of Percussion, I believe. And just the experience of getting to travel like that and perform in front of, percussionists and other drummers and stuff like that is super cool. And it's not something, that kids that age really do. They don't get that kind of experience, or at least at that level.
I do have a poster from one of the performances. We Got the Beat charity night performance at Bronze Ice Cream. Hang this on my wall. Actually, me right there. Just looking at it brings back a lot of memories.
They loved it from day one. The pride they feel at this was their band,
Mm-hmm. And the fact, I think they knew they were playing real music too.
Oh yeah.
And music that was interesting and fun and elaborate and that changed and
they wanted to. They were so proud of it. They want to show it off. Absolutely. They would every time Mandy came home from work, they wanted to do a gig. They set up equipment on the front driveway to do a gig for the neighbors. And then later down the road, they end up inviting some of their We Got the Beat friends over. And they start their own band.
Yeah.
I think my fondest memory from We Got the Beat was that first summer camp, and entering that room filled with these giant mallet instruments that I'd never really been around before, and slowly realizing that I love it, and I think that any young student who's interested in music can find something really cool from We Got the Beat.
He started We Got the Beat crying because he didn't know what he was doing. And by the next year, he debuted on drums at San Rafael Day of Percussion. So he went from feeling insecure to feeling more self-assured, and later on more of a leader helping the younger students.
We Got the Beat taught me how to steal and not just how to do it, but like taught me to do it, taught me to always have my eyes open. Anytime I see a person exhibiting traits that I think are valuable, or anytime I see somebody being really good at something that I want to be good at, that We Got the Beat instinct kicks in of I'm watching what they're doing and I'm doing everything I can to figure out what it is and how I can bring that into my own person.
I don't think that I would have passed geography if I didn't connect it to music with where did these instruments come from, what was the culture like, what were the people like, how did they make the instruments in that time.
Reading and language comprehension really was something I really struggled with, and I was frustrated and didn't know why I wasn't getting this. But as soon as I started drumming and was learning how to operate my hands doing different things at different times, and then playing drum kit when your hands are crossed, it helped my brain build the mental pathways that it needed to cross from one side to the other. And after that, something just clicked inside my head, and I was able to read. After that, reading and language comprehension became much, much easier.
Every once in a while, I'll see things that these beaters are doing all these years later, and I'm amazed. And I that's just in the limited years that I had. I can only imagine just how much it continued to impact kids' lives, and the number of students that must have gone through and been changed by the program, and what they must have gone on to do.
The way that We Got the Beat teaches made such a huge impact on me as a kid and as a musician, really. I mean, I'll tell people even now, I'm a master's student in jazz composition, and honestly, everything I needed to know to be a professional musician, I learned in my rookie year of We Got the Beat when I was in 4th grade.
You take kids from all different backgrounds and you put them together, and they all work toward a common goal, to make music. And then they take what they have learned out into the community and they play for people. And it just shows people that these kids that are so different can all work together to produce something beautiful.
I think I remember the nerves right before a performance. You've got everything set up and the show starts in about 10 minutes, and the anticipation builds and builds and builds, and then boom, right on the downbeat, everything fades and you're just in the music.